The night over Pinecrest Ridge was the kind that swallowed sound, leaving only the wind brushing through tall pines. Inside the old Firewatch tower, Ranger Tom Hensley kept watch, eyes flicking between the flickering radio and the dense forest far below. He had been stationed there for 5 nights straight, the same routine, the same isolation, nothing but static and the whisper of trees. Then, tonight, the static formed words. The radio hissed, then cleared, just long enough to spit out his own name, spoken in his exact voice but muffled and tired. Tom froze, staring at the small black radio as if it might explain itself. His reflection in the tower's window stared back, trembling in the glassy black. Outside, a faint orange glow danced between the trees. At first, he thought it was lightning from a distant storm, but no thunder rolled. The glow pulsed, slow, rhythmic, like breath. He reached for the binoculars, his pulse thudding louder than the breeze. What he saw made the blood drain from his face. It was someone climbing the rocky trail toward the tower, holding a lantern that burned without smoke. The figure moved slowly, every motion deliberate, as if testing reality with each step. Tom keyed the radio, trying to call base command, but the signal drowned in endless looping feedback. He adjusted the volume, his own voice echoed back from miles away, asking permission to approach the Firewatch tower. Shaking, Tom grabbed the flashlight and pointed it toward the trail. The beam illuminated the cliffside, bouncing off flakes of snow and bark, then landed on the visitor. It looked like him, a mirror image, same ranger uniform, same hat tilted slightly left, same anxious eyes searching upward. The beam flickered once and died. Inside the tower, the air turned thick and electric. Every metal instrument shook faintly, every gauge needle quivered, humming in unison with something unseen. Tom slammed the trapdoor shut, bolting it tight, though he heard no footsteps below. Yet somehow, from under the floor, came the tap of boots on the old wooden ladder. He reached for the shotgun propped by the window, the one every ranger was issued but never expected to use. His hand trembled as he checked the chamber, glancing at the narrow hatch that led to the observation deck. The tapping stopped, replaced by the sound of wind pushing against the walls, as if the forest itself exhaled. Then came a knock, soft, careful, and impossibly in rhythm with his heartbeat. Tom backed away, pressing his shoulders to the far wall. The lantern glow below seeped through the cracks in the floorboards, painting restless shadows that crawled toward him. He whispered, "Who are you?" The tower groaned in reply. Tom switched on the emergency floodlight, its blinding beam slicing through the dark, sweeping the forest. The visitor stood 30 feet away now, just outside the tower, looking up. The man's face was pale and expressionless, his lips slightly parted, as though still learning to imitate speech. Then, the doppelganger smiled. Floodlight buzzed, then cut out completely. The world vanished into blackness, leaving only silence and the metallic smell of ozone. Tom's own reflection shimmered faintly in the window glass, but the reflection wasn't matching his movements. Instead, it raised a finger to its lips and mouthed, "Stay quiet." The radio squawked again. This time, the voice clearer, firmer, familiar beyond question. "This is Ranger Tom Hensley reporting for duty," it said. Tom's knees weakened as he realized he hadn't spoken a word. His eyes flicked toward the corner, his backpack was gone. And in its place, another one identical to his sat neatly folded. Trying not to panic, Tom opened the logbook and began writing, his pen carving jagged lines onto the damp paper. Unregistered visitor present. Possible hallucination. The words bled into each other, letters trembling. When he looked up, the cabin clock had stopped, frozen at 12:04 a.m., though his wristwatch read 2:37. Lightning flashed across the horizon, revealing for an instant the entire landscape, and 2 towers, side by side. Tom blinked, rubbed his eyes, and when he looked again, only one stood in the distance. The world seemed to bend for that heartbeat, snapping back like stretched glass. The sound of the ladder groaning resumed. He aimed the shotgun at the hatch just as it lifted slightly, the hinges whining. Instead of a figure, he saw a blinding white light spill into the room, washing the walls in a sterile glow. A low hum vibrated through the tower floor like a generator cranking to life beneath reality itself. Something walked through the light, human-shaped but blurred, as if millions of pixels were fighting to hold their form. It looked at him, eyes glowing faintly gold through the haze. Tom's breath hitched as the scent of pine and burnt metal filled his lungs. The creature whispered his own memories back to him. began repeating his sentences in exact rhythm, forming echoes that overlapped time itself. "I am stationed here 5 nights," it recited. "I am not alone." Its words bent the air, causing frost to form on the metal railings. Tom fired, but the recoil sounded like thunder underwater, muted, distant, unreal. The figure didn't flinch. Instead, it turned its head, revealing his ranger badge, his full name etched beneath a fresh scratch across the surface. Then it pointed toward the door, as though inviting him out into the forest. Every instinct screamed no, but the longing to understand pulled harder. Outside, the forest had changed. The trail twisted into unnatural symmetry, trees lined as though drawn by an architect repeating a design. The air shimmered like heat on an asphalt highway, though the night was freezing cold. Somewhere distant, the same radio voice whispered coordinates repeatedly. Descended the tower, boots creaking against steps that seemed softer than they should. At the base, the fog was thick enough to hide his hands in front of his face. The lantern light bobbed ahead, moving deeper into the woods, not away from him, but sideways, as though walking through 2 overlapping worlds. Tom followed, each step sinking lower into the cold soil. The chirping insects had fallen silent long ago, replaced by a low pulse that roamed through the ground itself. The glow disappeared suddenly, leaving him blind until his flashlight clicked back on, and revealed 2 towers in the mist once again. He turned toward one tower, unable to tell which was real. Both looked worn, but one had smoke curling lazily from its chimney, as if someone was inside. Heart pounding, he climbed the first steps. Through the half-open door came the scratching of a pen on paper. Inside, the air smelled of wood, sweat, and his own cologne. On the desk, the logbook lay open to a fresh page, dated tomorrow. The writing looked identical to his, same looping letters. The entry read simply, "He returned tonight, just as I did." Dropped the book, backing toward the door as the shadow behind him shifted. The same voice, his voice, said calmly, "You shouldn't have followed." Then a hand, warm and calloused like his own, rested gently on his shoulder. When he turned, there was no one visible, yet the weight remained. Snow began to fall, soft and soundless, thickening until reality looked like static between channels. Through it, Tom saw the world fracture, each snowflake reflecting alternate angles of himself, in different poses, across infinite towers. The storm built into a deafening roar of motionless sound. He stumbled outside, staring upward at the red beacon flashing atop the original tower. The signal blinked unevenly, 3 short, 1 long, 3 short. Morse code for SOS. But the radio around his shoulder still played the same calm weather report from earlier in the evening, as if nothing were wrong. Tom began shouting into the mic, begging dispatch to respond. But when a reply came, it was his own recorded voice from days ago, "All clear up here, quiet night ahead." The signal looped endlessly, blending past and present until he could no longer tell which message was reality. Forrest started to breathe in rhythm with his panic. Trees leaned slightly closer, shadows stretching toward him like ink spilling uphill. His lungs burned with cold air, each exhale clouding and twisting in unnatural patterns. A faint melody hummed through the trees, a lullaby he recognized from childhood. At the tower's base, a doorway materialized, not the hatch he knew, but a geometric frame of white light vibrating in silence. Inside, he saw the control room duplicated perfectly, except that someone sat at the desk already. The figure typed on a radio log, never turning to face him. He stepped closer, whispering cautiously, "Who are you?" The seated shape spoke softly, "You wrote this question last night." Then it turned, revealing his own eyes bloodshot and empty, staring back without recognition. Time folded around him like paper creasing itself shut. When the light collapsed, Tom found himself alone again, back in the single tower, morning sunlight breaking through the clouds. The radio was silent, the forest peaceful, as if the whole night had been imagined. Yet, when he checked the logbook, the final page contained fresh writing he didn't remember making. The entry read, in shaky letters, "Do not look outside after midnight." Beneath it was a second note, smaller, written in a firmer hand, "He's still climbing." Tom's heart froze as the floor creaked below him again, one slow, deliberate step ascending. He turned toward the window and saw, far below, a faint orange lantern swinging between trees once more. The silhouette moved not upward but sideways, parallel to the ground, phasing in and out of focus. Its head finally lifted toward him, and he knew exactly what expression waited there. The tower's red warning light flickered 3 times, then stopped completely. The surrounding forest locked in eerie stillness as if the world hit pause. Tom felt his pulse sinking with the deep silence, each heartbeat merging with the unseen rhythm beneath the soil. A crack of thunder broke without any lightning, shaking the structure's frame. He grabbed the metal railing for balance, feeling warmth beneath his grip, like blood under cold steel. The air vibrated with whispers in endless layers, sentences repeated backward, familiar yet indecipherable to reason. He glanced back toward the desk and saw the reflection of 2 men in the window, both wearing his uniform, both breathing in perfect unison. One turned slightly, meeting his gaze. The image rippled, glitching for an instant, then froze permanently, leaving only a faint outline burned into the glass. When morning broke again, rescuers found the tower door open, coffee still warm, and 2 identical logbooks neatly stacked on the desk. The official report cited exhaustion and stress-induced hallucinations. But to this day, hikers swear they still see a lone lantern moving side to side among the trees. They say sometimes you can hear it on the radio, his voice, calm and steady, reporting conditions over Pinecrest Ridge. And if you listen long enough, right before the static fades, you might hear another voice behind it. The same voice, asking quietly, permission to climb.